Former White House strategist Steve Bannon was convicted of contempt of Congress Friday, following a swift trial featuring just 2 government witnesses who detailed the longtime Donald Trump aide's defiance of a House committee's demand for records and testimony in its investigation of the Capitol attack. The federal court jury deliberated less than 3 hours before delivering guilty verdicts on 2 counts, dealing victories to the special House committee which initiated the contempt proceedings and the Justice Department's prosecution. Sentencing is set for October 21st. Appearing outside the courthouse, Bannon said he respected the jury's decision but vowed to appeal. "We may have lost the battle here today, but we haven't lost the war," he told reporters, his right arm slung around attorney David Shoen. "You will see this case reversed on appeal," Shoen said, describing the case as bulletproof. Government lawyers did not comment. In closing arguments, prosecutors urged conviction, asserting that Bannon chose allegiance to Donald Trump over an obligation to comply with Congress. The defendant made a deliberate decision not to comply, Assistant U.S. Attorney Molly Gaston told jurors. "That, ladies and gentlemen, is contempt. We are here because the defendant has contempt for the Congress. He has contempt for our system of government and does not believe he has to abide by the rules. Find him guilty." Bannon attorney Evan Corcoran, meanwhile, continued to maintain that the House committee had targeted his client because of Bannon's long relationship with the Republican former president. He also suggested that the prosecution's primary witness harbored a political bias against Bannon. Why was Steve Bannon singled out? Corcoran told the jury, turning his focus on Kristen Amerling, the House committee's chief counsel and the government's main witness. Corcoran referred to Amerling's work for Democratic lawmakers and her acknowledged contributions to Democratic political candidates. The witness also had previously testified that she had known one of the prosecutors, Gaston, for about 15 years when they overlapped as staffers for former Representative Henry Waxman, Democrat California. The 2 also have been members of the same book club. Why did Ms. Amerling want to make an example of Steve Bannon? It's an election year, the attorney said. Final arguments followed a decision by Bannon's lawyers to call no witnesses in the case. Bannon attorney David Shoen told U.S. District Judge Carl Nichols Thursday that his client decided not to testify, arguing that the court had barred the legal team from asserting a number of defenses, including that Bannon was exempted from complying with the subpoena because he believed Trump had invoked executive privilege. Bannon was convicted on 2 counts of contempt, one for his refusal to appear for the deposition and another involving his failure to produce documents. Each count could carry a minimum of 30 days and a maximum of 1 year in jail, as well as a maximum fine of $100,000. Federal prosecutors rested their case against Bannon Wednesday after testimony from just 2 witnesses, including Amerling, who told the jury the former Trump aide repeatedly defied the panel's demand for documents and testimony despite the threat of criminal prosecution. Amerling, who serves as the committee's deputy staff director, said Bannon was put on notice multiple times that he risked contempt charges if he did not produce the required information and appear for a deposition, yet he failed to meet every deadline outlined in the September 23, 2021 subpoena. Referring to correspondence with Bannon attorney Robert Costello, Amerling said the lawyer never requested an extension of the deadlines or suggested that his client had no information relevant to the committee's inquiry. Instead, Costello argued that Bannon was shielded by executive privilege. The Select Committee's position was this was not a valid rationale for refusing to comply, Amerling said, adding that the committee never received a notice, formal or informal, that Trump invoked executive privilege related to Bannon. This month, the Justice Department revealed in court documents that Trump's attorney never said the former president intended to invoke executive privilege that would shield Bannon from the committee. In January, the Supreme Court rejected Trump's attempts to shield documents from the committee through executive privilege. In closing arguments, Corcoran claimed that Bannon had not ignored the committee's subpoena, referring to the House committee's exchange of correspondence with Bannon's attorney, Costello. At one point, Corcoran challenged the validity of the subpoena, suggesting that the signature of January 6 committee chairman Benny Thompson, Democrat Mississippi, was different from his signatures on correspondence with Bannon's attorney. Corcoran also asserted that the dates set out in the subpoena for the production of documents and Bannon's appearance for October 14 deposition were merely placeholders, subject to negotiation. "The government wants you to believe that that is a paper trail to a crime," Corcoran said. Assistant U.S. Attorney Amanda Vaughn countered Friday that the committee's demands couldn't have been clearer. "This is not difficult. This is not hard," Vaughn told jurors. "Your eyes are not deceiving you." Bannon chose not to comply because he didn't want to. The government's case largely hinged on Ammerling's testimony, while Bannon's attorneys have repeatedly sought to cast the prosecution as politically driven. At trial, Corcoran asked whether members of Congress were directly involved in setting the subpoena deadlines. Ammerling testified that the urgency of the investigation dictated that the committee obtain information as expeditiously as possible. Vaughn, however, rejected Corcoran's claim that Bannon's prosecution was politically motivated and defended Ammerling as a serious investigator. "Why are we talking about politics?" Vaughn asked. "What is political about an attack on the seat of our government?" Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications for more news.